The Big Bang does not claim that there was a beginning to everything, or that there was such a thing as nothing. Although this video does reference scientific concepts like the Big Bang, it is mainly and mostly intended for encouraging philosophical thought and critical thinking from the viewer. A scientific theory is basically an explanation of observed evidence and experimental data. A hypothesis is basically a proposed explanation that is presented before further scientific investigation or experiment is carried out. In terms of the origin of the universe, the best answer to this is to say, I don't know. This video considers some paradoxes like the concept of nothing and scientific concepts like the Big Bang. During my interactions with some theists from various religions, I keep hearing bad arguments for gods like, you can't have something from nothing, so there must be a creator. This argument is absolute trash because the people who make this argument also believe that this God made the universe from nothing. This literally contradicts their presupposition or assumption of you can't have something from nothing. Secondly, I don't think anyone has ever experienced the concept of absolute nothing. In physics, empty space is not actually absolute nothing. Consider a simple thought experiment or paradox to help your imagination. X minus x equals to 0. So some people might call 0 nothing, but 0 is also x minus x. So it is not nothing, but it's not something either. It can be nothing and it can be the expression x minus x. Another common claim from theists is that this God, creator, is eternal and was never created. If you find it easy to imagine and create an eternal being in your head just to fill the knowledge gaps, why do you find it hard to imagine an eternal universe? Especially since the difference between the universe and this imaginary God is that the universe actually exists. The concept of a God is simply imaginary and was created during a time of limited scientific understanding of the universe. It is no surprise that humans have often wondered what the origin of the universe is, so historically they invented concepts like gods to try and explain it without evidence. In 1931, a Belgian cosmologist and Catholic priest by the name of Georges Lemaître published a scientific form explaining the Big Bang theory, which was based on Edwin Hubble's evidence of an expanding universe that was observed in 1929. Edwin made observations using the largest telescope at the time to observe that the more distant galaxies were, the faster they were moving away from us. He also observed the phenomenon called redshifting, which is basically when light from further galaxies appeared to be more red, which implies that their wavelengths were larger. This meant that the galaxies were moving away from us, which resulted in the stretching of the light's wavelength. In Georges Lemaître's explanation, he argued that since the universe is expanding, it must have expanded from a smaller point, which he called the primeval atom. Today, we call this smaller point a singularity, with the difference being that the singularity refers to a smaller point of infinite density, whereas the primeval atom at the time did not refer to an infinite density in Georges' explanation. Today, we have even more evidence for the Big Bang, like the cosmic microwave background radiation, which basically allowed us to estimate the age of the universe to be about 13.8 billion years. However, it could be possible that the universe is even older than this. There is a lot of common misconceptions when it comes to the Big Bang. The Big Bang does not say there was ever such a thing as nothing. The Big Bang also does not say that there was a beginning to everything. In reality, based on various pieces of evidence like the expansion of the universe and the cosmic microwave background radiation, the Big Bang only says that the universe must have expanded from a smaller, denser point which we call a singularity. The Big Bang does not say what was before or prior to the singularity. I don't even know if using the words like before or prior makes sense at all in this context, but I'll use them for simplification. Since the Big Bang does not say what was before the singularity and there's currently no evidence to know, the best answer in this case is to say, I don't know. The problem comes when theists tend to invent and insert an imaginary creator to try and fill this gap in knowledge. In terms of what was before the singularity, there are many other thought-provoking possibilities and we simply don't know or have the evidence to conclude. An example is the Big Bounce or the eternal cyclic universe. We don't know if the singularity was formed by the collapse or contraction of a previous universe. Another example is the eternal singularity. We don't know if the singularity was just sitting there for eternity before suddenly expanding into this universe. Another example is we don't know if the universe is in eternal expansion, and so many other thought-provoking possibilities could be the case. In conclusion to this video, the best answer to the origin of the universe is to say, I don't know. It is okay to imagine many possibilities or many possible ideas like the cyclical universe, eternal singularity, eternal expansion, creators, etc. However, in the absence of evidence, it is very illogical to just naively believe in any of these imaginary possible ideas without any evidence whatsoever. The most logical stance one can have is to freely imagine possible ideas, but maintain a lack of belief in these ideas until strong evidence is available to make conclusions. This is why atheism is the most logical and intellectually honest stance to have. Before concluding this video, it is important to highlight that all human babies are born implicit atheists, since they unconsciously lack belief in any gods until they are indoctrinated into their parents' religion. An explicit atheist, on the other hand, is simply someone who consciously lacks belief in gods, due to many reasons like the lack of evidence for any gods, the overwhelming evidence for evolution, the poor arguments for gods, and many more reasons.